Okay, hold your breath and concentrate in your heart. Say Muhammad Rasulullah fi kulli lamhatin wa nafasin adadama wa si'ahu al-murah. In your heart, no need to say. Close, hold your breath, say in your heart. Now to the point you want to inhale, slowly release. Slowly release. Now for the one, anybody that memorized Salawat Azimiyah, concentrate and recite one time Salawat Azimiyah in your heart. Tamam. Now, the one that memorized Istighfar Kabir, ask forgiveness one time, Istighfar Kabir. Concentrate to your heart. Bring your heart present. Plead to Allah, asking forgiveness. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Okay, anybody have questions? You can ask. Anybody have any question? You can ask.
So
Yeah.
when you said the 5 expressions of love,
Yeah.
one of them was travelling.
Yeah.
Can you just sort of
No,
explain
traveling is
what
the
you mean?
idea that, by nature, human, you going places. Doesn't matter close or far range or close range. You move. The idea of movement. Yeah. So more specific in terms of going places is connected with Hajj. Okay. So that idea that Hajj is traveling to your Lord, your final destination. Okay, is going back to Him. Okay, so traditionally, going to Hajj is that you never considered yourself coming back. Okay, so you consider I'm not coming back. That is why those day people, when they go to Hajj, when they come back, like you see another human being. What happened? It's completely transformed. Because they're really, I'm finished. Especially those days if you want to go, if you're far out, sometime 1 month, you arrive there. Those days they by ship, isn't it? At some point before. So traditionally like that, but now because of time, restriction, expansion has changed. So it impacts the way you view the world, isn't it? And then it becomes going places more sensuality. They say people go how many times, more trouble. You come back, you proud. You're feeding in to the self that look to itself. Yes? That's why that 6th element, it will produce the one, paying attention, that you develop the scale of that ability to hold for a long period of time in that being present state. Okay? That refractory period between callousness and heedlessness, the gaps start to become more closer. If you really understood that 68 point under the 6 point, the 50 under La ilaha illallah and the 18 under Muhammad Rasulullah. Open that. So those elements of the 50 under La ilaha illallah and then 18 under Muhammad Rasulullah, if you really understood for what it is, it will reinforce that focus attention, the one. And that in turn, it will reinforce the 5. And the 5 will give the 3 fruit. And number 1 of the fruit of the 3, first is that the self that look beyond itself. Okay? And the second is the self that bring about definition that which is balance, stability, justice, and equity in facing challenges of life. That's 3. That's second. And the third is that when you face the dunya, okay, when you face the dunya, now when you face the dunya, you see the akhirah. You have yearn for the next life. So the worldly life becomes a reason that you have more spiritual yearning for the next. And when you see the makhluk or you see the creation, that witnessing creation, it generates in you that more good than the bad. Okay, right about now, what we experience in life, when you see creation, okay, you tend to have more negative rather than positive. Okay, so that's the three fruit of that, affirming that 68 point, and then that 1 point, and then that element of that 5 point. Yeah. Yeah. So is that your question just now? Is it answered? What is it?
So, it's travelling with Allah in mind.
Yeah.
As well, whether
Yeah.
the journey be a long journey or
short
or
journey. So that your movement, that you move, so that life and death is so close to you. Okay. So if your movement, any of the movement, you're getting close to that, the next place of transmission. Okay. So if that is what the journey is, so where is your concentration then? Is it with this physical world or spiritual world?
Spiritually, that's the ultimate then. That's where you'll go.
You're not paying attention. If your movement,
Yeah.
every step that you take
Yeah.
is close to the grave,
Mm.
so where's your attention now? Physical world or spiritual world then? Every step you make, you're close to go to the grave.
Mm.
Where is your focus attention then?
Should be the spiritual. Yeah.
So that's what journey is.
Mm.
Journey means your movement is a close range or far range. Okay, you're going to Him, and the gate or the door of going back to Him is through that, that death. Yes. So that dhikrul maut, or remembrance of death, becomes strong pull in you to the point. Anywhere you turn, anywhere you go, that reality of the next life, become your yearning, strong yearn for the next. Okay, anywhere you go, whatever that you do in your movement, okay, it reinforces that movement towards the next life. At the apparent level, you move to this life, but the inner dimension, it open up towards that the next life. Yeah. So love or yearn towards the next life is part of your experience in life, in that journey. Because the original traveling is going to Mecca and Medina. Yeah. So that Mecca is symbolized La ilaha illallah, and that Medina symbolizes Muhammad Rasulullah. Yeah. So going there is going to that point of completely surrendering to Him, whatever that He wants. Okay. So you're giving your willpower completely to Him. Yeah. So it's not about what you want, it's about what He wants. Okay. So if your journey is all about what your lover wants, then everything that you do is sweet now, isn't it? Not just sweet, it reinforces that reality. Yeah, that reality, that the true sense of reality, the actual reality. Yeah, not that superficial reality. Yeah, so that superficial reality, so that the actual reality can be reinforced. So more you mingle, more you engage with this material life, more you drown with spiritual life. So material life does not take you towards the point of veiling yourself, okay, towards the next life. Okay. So in other words, the inside vision open up. So you have the external eyes and you have the inner eyes. Okay, the inner eyes connect with the eyes of belief, eyes of creed, eyes that in relation to what you have, accept, believe, surrender to be absolute truth, to be the most valuable thing. That is the most strongest pull, because anything value you incline. Okay. So if your outward journey, the value is the material, is the sin, then more you travel, more you become callous. But if your value is material, is spiritual value, okay, so now, yes, you may have that outward traveling, but that outward traveling, it bring about that spiritual value, because the material, that whatever that you experience through that sensual, okay, sensorial, it translate the giver. Okay, assign meaning, it attribute towards the source. So after a while, if that is what the sequence, and then it gets stronger now. So it's taking back to that beyond time space, isn't it? So now this, what you see, become lesser, it become it's something that it is what it is, because the nature of this life is decay. But we are not seeing that reality. But if you establish the 615 and get the 3 result, you will see the reality. So when you see anything here, you see yourself, it's so quick. Because that the endless reality is your state. So you see it is what it is. It's decaying, it's constantly going. Because you are anchored already with that reality, not knowing level. You're engaging constantly. You master that. Yeah? Makes sense to you? Yeah? So that's why the first step is to establish that 50 element. Yeah? And that 50 element is connected with that 18 element. Okay? So if you look at on top there, right on top, you have that فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. This is Kalamullah. This is the verse in the Quran. Okay? فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. In Surah Al-Muhammad, verse 19. If you open the Quran, okay, in Surah Al-Muhammad, verse 19, you'll find that verse. فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. So that La ilaha illallah is Kalamullah. That is Quran, is part of the Quran. Yeah? But to understand that meaning, what it stands for, these are the explanation of that La ilaha illallah. And the other side, you have Muhammad Rasulullah in Suratul Fath. Yeah, in Suratul Fath, verse 29. So one in the chapter of Fath, okay, verse 29, Muhammad Rasulullah, and the other one is in the chapter of Muhammad, okay, and verse 19. That's where you get La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. And in that verse, Allah says, Fa'alam annahu. So before that, La ilaha illallah, it is Fa'alam annahu. In other words, the call, come to know, come to contemplate, come to reflect. This reality of what is it? What is the real meaning of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah? What is it? Fa'alam annahu. A'lam. Annahu. A'lamu. Come to know. This is the command. It's an order that you're asked to know. In other words, in each human being, there is yearning, wanting to know absolute reality. So the call from the Quran and the call from our inner self match. So yes, Allah says, فَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ is calling you, come to know, and you also want to know. Okay, so it's not one-sided, okay? It's not that you feel, oh my God, I have to know. No. Because that crying in yourself, that wanting to know, okay, is always there, isn't it? You want to know. You want to know the truth, you know, that crying, what is this all? Where does everything come from? Who owns everything? How do you know what you know? Episteme. What is supposed to do? Where are you going? These 5 great questions that constantly crying out loud in ourselves. Where does everything come from? So in other words, you want to know where does everything come from. That's what Allah says, Fa'alam. So because Allah Himself has declared, Fa'alam, come to know. So the whole of His creation vibrate, wanting to know. To know that absolute reality, to know that absolute force. Where does everything come from? Who owns everything? How do you know what you know? Where does everything come from and who owns everything? This under La ilaha illallah. How do you know what you know? This under Muhammad Rasulullah. Yes? And then, what is supposed to do? Where are you going? 5 great questions, isn't it? Yeah? So, what is supposed to do? So, doing in that aspect of life is that we find ourselves constantly wanting to do something. Yeah? Okay? That active mode that you find yourself, you always want to do something. But the question arises is that what you really supposed to do? What is it? Okay? We by nature, we have passive mode and active mode. Okay? So that active mode, that yearning, want this, you're always wanting to do something. And that wanting to do something, it is always inclined towards something benefit, something profit, something gain, something, something that bring about success, bring about advance, bring about a state of better and better. Okay, that's natural. You doesn't need to go to university to want to incline towards that inclination, wanting good, wanting bloom, flourish, success, advance, okay, benefit, gain. Now that wanting, either you're Muslim or you're not Muslim, doesn't matter. That's your strong pull. That's your strong inclination. But then, what are the things that really can bring about benefit in you? In short term and long term. This life and the next life. What is it? Okay? If you use your intellectual calculation, you might get right, you might get it wrong. So therefore, the Prophet comes to present as a representative on behalf of that absolute reality to demonstrate all those great questions. So that, you're always in track. You're safe. Okay, this wanting to do is always two sides. You want to do something that bring about benefit, and you want to avoid something that harm. These two pull or two inclination in each psyche. Okay, so this element of attraction and element of repulsion. Push away. So anything bad you want to push away. Anything good you want to bring close. So that's your that's your two gear in yourself. And the nature of your thinking mind, you're thinking constantly. That thinking mind is always calculating. Okay, is it benefit? Is it harm? Is it good? Is it bad? For you to come here, if there's harm here, no one will come. Okay, if you intend to come here from wherever you are, on the journey someone call you out, you know what? The gathering tonight, that where you're going now, everyone is ill now. They have COVID. You put your handbrake now. Yes? Why? Because it's harm. Yes? So we always, that doing element is always about bring about benefit and avoid harm. And your mind is always constantly scanning the environment. Okay, and that scanning, that thinking is always about benefit and harm. If you're driving a car, for instance, if you see some danger, you immediately slow down, isn't it? So that's your inclination naturally. Yes? So that 5 great questions, where does everything come from? Who owns everything? How do you know what you know? And then, what you're supposed to do. And that doing element is always about bring about benefit and avoid harm. At individual level, family level, society, community, country level, and nation level. Okay, that preservation of goodness. Okay, this is what we're learning. So to transform yourself to become that person that function in family, in society, in community, in country, in nation, wherever you are, okay, to present, to bring good wherever you are, to present, to avoid harm wherever you are. Okay? And then, the last question, where are you going? Okay? That's why in this explanation you talk about uluhiyah, nabawiyah, adalah, and al-hashar. Okay? So uluhiyah is la ilaha illallah. Nabawiyah is Muhammad Rasulullah. Adalah is about justice. It's about doing right thing. So the fact that your inclination to do something bring about benefit, that's doing the right thing. That's adalah, not zalim. Yes? So you want to do something right. Okay, you want to do something that, that is balance, stability, justice, and right proportion. Not too extreme, not, far right, not far left, but that middle. That's what you want to do. Okay? The best of action is always middle, not extreme. Not become extremist, in other words. So in your thinking, feeling, acting, you can become extreme. You can become biased. Okay? You can develop cognitive, biased cognitive. The thinking mind can be biased in any situation, but if you understood the reality of 50 and 18, because this understanding this reality, it effaces the self that look to itself. It effaces. Okay, the self that look to itself, it effaces. So it cut off the self that look to itself. Okay, so it cut off the self that look to itself. It established the self that look beyond itself, which is the world today, fill up with character of self-centered. Yes? So already at the beginning of your education, this is foundation. Foundation of your thinking. Foundation of your feeling. Foundation of your acting. Okay? What construct your thinking before the thinking? What is it construct? Upon what your thinking is based upon? If your thinking mind is based upon this 68, the result, you find yourself more easy being present. Naturally. Okay? And if you find yourself more present, you will naturally incline towards the 5 element articulation action. Meaning, the first articulation at the personal expression is Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. And the second, the action which is connected towards your salah. So in other words, once you establish the 6, the 1, and then the 2 of the 5 become your state of being, which is articulation and action, which means you establish prayer, meaning hablum min Allah. You establish your relation between you and that absolute reality. No one can take away from you. You become that now. That's why being present, okay, is the major aspect in the tradition of prophethood. They are the master of being present. So being present is not new. Not something new age spiritualism thing. No. Okay. So that, that aspect of 50 and 18. Okay. Where are the 50 then? Okay, we can count now. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11 there, isn't it? And opposite of that 11, you have another 11. How many already?
22.
22. And then you have the 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the opposite of the 3, another 3. So you have 6 there. So 6 plus
22.
22, you get
28.
Okay, 28. Now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Opposite of that is 9 as well. So how many?
18.
18. Now 18 plus 1, 2. And then opposite of the 2, another 2, you have 4. So 18 plus 4, how much? How many?
22.
There you get 22. So 28 plus 22, how many?
22.
28 plus 22, how many?
50.
50. Yeah? So that 50 is under La ilaha illallah. Okay? So that's just a quick review. We never go into detail yet. What are the 15? We never go one into one yet. Yeah, we just give just overview first. The 50. Okay, and if we start to go into detail, the ending conclusion of this contemplation or understanding, you come to the conclusion of giving. You realize this is pointing finger towards the great giver, the constant giving. Okay, so that's 50. Where are the 18 here? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have number 4 there, isn't it? Opposite of the 4, another 4, you get 8. Yeah? And then you have 1 here. And then opposite of the 1, another 1. So you get 2. So 8 plus 2, how many?
6.
8 plus 2?
10.
10. Now you have 4 this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Opposite of the 4, another 4, you get 8. So 10 plus 8.
18.
So you have the 18 under Muhammad Rasulullah. Okay? And the conclusion of this reality, when you contemplate, here you come to conclusion of conscious receiving. Here, ending giving. Okay, ending giving, conscious receiving. If you couple the two, you get elevated emotion. You get appreciation. You get gratitude. You get gratefulness. Okay? That's why you talk about that discovery. You discovered, you found, you come to that profound experience, profound affirmation of that elevated emotion. Yeah, and that not through senses, because what is that? What is that giving? The 3 elements just now we talked about. Ni'matul huda wal rashad, ni'matul ijad, ni'matul imdad. Okay, that molding, shaping, cultivating, directing your understanding in the right direction. That is the greatest. The education. What is education about? Education is about, is nurturing, mold, shape, cultivate, and direct you somewhere. Yes or no? What is knowledge? Knowledge is, I'm talking to you now, I'm giving you some narrative. Obviously, I'm direct you somewhere. A sense of direction. Yes or no? Direction, I'm direct you to somewhere. Now, direction or directing to somewhere, that somewhere is only 2. In time, space, beyond. Again, demonstrate creation or creator. It's only 2. So the dominant position of this age is nurturing, mold, shape, cultivate. The media is directing us towards in time, space. In other words, for materialism. In other words, literalism. In other words, atheism. But at the same time, if that is the loudest voice, dominant position, but at the same time, you have freedom. But at the same time, no. So that construct, society construct, isn't it? Yeah. So the conditioned mind, confused. Okay, that manufacture consent. Yeah. Okay. So that's the main media. So once we understood the 15 and 18, now we discovered the true media. This Muhammad Rasulullah is a media. If you look at the 18, is nothing but explaining, giving message. What the media do? Message. Okay. So once you recognize, acknowledge this one, clarity in your mind, and then clarity in your mind, the 18. And then the third is the teacher that presenting the 18. That muwahidun mustaghrikun fil wahadi samadi an ghairihi. The one that drown in that reality. Your teacher. That's number third. Number fourth is the student is coming, meeting the teacher, try to get the alignment right, struggling, battling with their bad habit, in, out, in, Try to put it right. The thinking, feeling, acting. Okay? So the teacher somewhat really drowned already the reality of thinking, feeling, acting of the prophethood. Okay, so first step, second step, knowing that, the best of creation at the level of ma'soom, infallible. And the third, connecting yourself with your teacher, that explaining this reality, that the tradition of unbroken chain. And then here, the teacher explain, to take the path, your life journey, you have to establish this principle. Murabatah, musharatah, muraqabah, muhasabah, muaqabah, mujadah, mu'atabah. So any life experience in your life journey, these are the things that you have to establish. These are the principle. Okay, if something not right in your life, just check. Where is your rabita? Where is your musharata? Do you follow it? Where is your muraqabah? Do you establish it? Where is your muhasabah? Where is your mu'aqabah, mujahadah, and mu'atabah? If you do all that, you're back on track. Okay, so the teacher teach you that 7 principle of life journey. Yeah. So in order to nurture ourselves, mold, shape, cultivate, and direct ourselves to that absolute reality. Okay, in facing this superficial reality, until you master it, to the point, as we said earlier, no situation, no circumstances, no person can distract you anymore, because you master it now. Okay, you arrive to that good state of being, good state of establishment. But because we're still not at a good state yet, so we easily get influence. Okay, circle of influence and circle of concern. Yeah, so circle of influence, work upon the circle of influence, what you can far-reaching sight, far-reaching hand around your capacity. That's the first circle which connect to the 6 and the 1. Circle of concern, which is the 5. If you work upon the 6 and the 1, the 5 will get sorted out. See? Yeah? Okay. We open question then, if you have any question. Bismillah. Any question? Are we online or something?
We're on the...
Yeah, anyone ask question online, you can take as well. MashaAllah.
So
Yeah.
you asked that, you said earlier when you talked about, it's that state of yearning for the next life.
Yeah.
So, which particular bit, from death, the grave, Sirat, Judgment Day?
No, when you talk about generally when yearning for the next life, yearning for permanent life, permanent stay. That's all about. And that's natural inclination of your state of being. You're looking for something permanent. You feel disturbed with anything in this life because you can't find something that is permanent. And part of being in life, your strongest vibration is love. And love is connect towards permanency. That is why we call upon that. Call, Ya Baqi Antal Baqi, 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 Ya Baqi Antal Baqi. You are the enduring one. Anything other than you is not endured. Anything other than you have to go. Expired day. Stop looking at the place that is not going to be fulfill what you need. Looking in the way as absolute engagement. That's part of stupidity. Stop. We're not saying don't look at all. Look, but remind. This is just to recognize that reality. That's why you need dhikr. You need remind. Ya Baqi Antal Baqi, Ya Baqi Antal Baqi, Ya Baqi Antal Baqi, Ya Baqi Antal Baqi, Ya Baqi Antal Baqi. Yes? Oh, the one, you are the one now. Remind yourself. Sing that song. Make that dhikr. Okay, your mind become the mind what you remind the most. Remind. Assign the meaning. Which part? Of course, the main part is about permanency, which connects with love, mahabba. People fall in love because of four: beauty, bounty, perfection, and with permanency. The question is, who is permanent? No one's permanent. If you have your spouse in your life, to imagine or to have a dream your spouse left you, it disturbs you. Why? Because you don't want to be separated. Part of love is togetherness. And part of that togetherness, that's what they say, we are social beings. Which means we are love being. In other words. Yes. Yeah? Yes or no? So that permanency. Okay? That's why we talk about al-hashar. We talk about adalah. We talk about uluhiyah, because uluhiyah, this is dominant centralization of our thinking mind, our being, existence, that dominant pull or dominant current, dominant electromagnetic field, the dominant vibration, dominant yearning is really want to know, discover that absolute truth, reality, what is really exists. Because number one key element in our thinking mind is existence. Something doesn't exist, you care less. Yes or no? The dominant pull is the word wujud, existence. That's where everything starts. Yes or no? If something doesn't exist, the ghost doesn't exist in your house. What? But you say ghosts exist. Hold on, what you say? You get the point there. Gold does not, you in your back garden doesn't have gold. Yes? The element of affirmation and negation. Two modes, isn't it? That's two state. Your akal, your intellect is always affirm something, reject something. Yes? Yes or no? And we always affirm something bring benefit. And that benefit sometimes we miscalculate. We thought benefit, for now is benefit, and after 1 month, it harm you. Okay? So sometimes we cannot see. We get influenced by certain things. We misjudge. Okay, it's fine. You learn from your lesson. Move on. Yeah, but then if you have a guide, that's the best thing to do. Just connect and take the guidance and move. Yeah? So, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah? So that element of beauty, bounty, perfection, and with permanency. Okay, so that Jamal, okay, and Jamal, Nawal, and Kamal, and Istimrarul Wujud. So Istimrarul Wujud is the idea that constant, that inclination towards something permanent. Okay. So that 50 element is that you discovered about that permanent, the one that exists, but that's value. That's why if you study that, your value system will back on track. Right about now, our value system has been hijacked. Okay, our value system is more material value. Okay. By affirming this reality, it will heal, it will bring back on track. That's the beauty. Yeah. Inshallah, tonight we just give very brief view. We'll go into detail, and then maybe you have more questions. We can answer all that. And then you go back, you start to do your homework. You have to take this and start to contemplate, occupy your mind, rehearse until you activate that. You come to that conclusion, ending giving, conscious receiving, elevated emotion. Now you stay there. Now the ending is that when you pray, you find really comfort. You can stay there longer. Right about now, when we enter prayer, we just nothing want to come out. Yeah, we feel more comfort outside prayer. Yeah, when you get yourself in the prayer, you find discomfort. So comfort zone and discomfort zone. Yeah, so once you come to that ma'rifatullah, you come to that knowing, that reality. Okay, so once that reality, become clear to you, then it become one reality. It's just right now that people, if you really see people really submerged in material reality, they can't see anything. Almost fana. They're fana with the material, isn't it? They can't see anything. So if that's possible, so it's also possible at the side. Or you can become extreme, more spiritual, also danger. Or extreme, very physical, also danger. So far right and far left. Here it balance. It brings you to that balance. You master the scale, okay? Not rule out the world, but not completely take the world, you drown. No. You find that fine tune of universe. So you can function, in other words. That fine-tuned universe, it allows everything to function, isn't it? So this education, you find that fine-tune that you can function taking the world but not drown in the world. But instead you drown with akhirah. Because in that impermanent, your inner sight, your inner vision opened up, witnessing the permanent. If you're seeing the permanent, in witnessing the impermanent, where are you inclining?
Permanent.
More you engage with the impermanent, more you drown with
Permanent.
Why? Because while engaging, you're seeing that permanent. That's balance. More you connect with creation, more you drown with creator. That's scale. Because the meaning that you embrace at the profound foundation that construct your thinking is this. You become that person. We does not become that person because we does not construct this in ourselves. This is not dominant in ourselves. For real. If it is for real, you see the result, the one. It is for real, you see the result, the five. That is why we've been guided at three levels, the thinking level, the emotional level, and the acting level. So you have the mental domain, emotional domain, physical domain. Result in witnessing that material, you establish spiritual. That's education. That's narrative. Yeah? Make sense to you? Any question? Come on. No question in the online?
No, Shaykh.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any question here? Bismillah.
Shaykh, this is referring back to last week's
Yeah.
lessons. I was listening over and trying to understand and grasp it. I mean, the sort of key things that I got was you mentioned at the Jummah, and then at the lesson you started with about sermon. How do you take sermon from things? And then I was trying to understand how things is happening in life all the time, and there's certain things that we take notice of to learn from. But that seems to be determined by what we already have as like our value system, meaning that we have a system that is organized within us. There's certain things that we recognize that there's value in, and we incline towards that more.
Yeah.
As an analogy, someone who's a businessman or someone who's into like finance and economics, because they have that as their basis of their, I suppose, value system, their knowledge,
Yeah.
they're experiencing life like we are, but then they'll incline towards and notice things where there's opportunities for profit and also dangers of loss. And then they incline towards that, and all of sermon in life is based on that. But I understand that the understanding relating to this 68 Akida, the real, is that everything that is happening, to know that the basis of anything that is happening is that it's just purely manifestation of Allah. And how, in the lesson you're talking about Iqra Bismi, the lion, and how they understood it, the pen that is writing, it's a metaphor, it's like the divine pen that's writing out reality. So then now, all of reality, everything that we experience, is in a sense, it is Kalam Allah, in the sense that there is meaning constantly and infinitely in everything that's happening. But someone that doesn't have that knowledge can't have that value system to then seek out and incline towards, to take sermon from things like that, on that level, to then incline towards more towards the Akida, to open up the 6, the 1, and the 5.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, because it was very short what you said, and there wasn't much, so I thought, okay, there must be something. It's not like Sheikh just wanted to like have a break and ease in. So as I started digging, I realised, okay, that's the depth there. There's so much in that little that he said, encapsulating.
Yeah.
So now if you're witnessing Kalam Allah, but now here's now see where you have to have a teacher.
Yeah.
Because it's so vast, you can conclude anything.
Yeah.
You can, and then you have the Sheikh. So then now I recognise now, because with book knowledge, when we're trying to learn books, you can get very literal and like see that Iqra as in, oh, that meaning the book. And people forget that the Quran was never written for many years. And the knowledge was not written. When it's then unlettered, there's a symbolism in that and a deep meaning. So then, when people look at you, Sheikh Ali, I mean, I did this, you're thinking, oh, where did he learn? What books? And like, when he doesn't have a text in front of him, what's he doing? And we get excited when you bring out a text. Even when it's in Malay, but we know, oh, what's that? We're trying to wondering. And we don't realise that's just the means. That's not the...
Yeah.
Because the reality that you're getting the knowledge from is live, living reality itself. And it's hard to fathom that. I mean, I can articulate what I just said. But it's quite mind-boggling. Yeah.
It's the message, not the... Yeah.
Yeah. But now I can recognise that if everything is that state of Kalam Allah, then where does carelessness, this heedlessness come from? And but then also there's discernment. The fact that I have carelessness, heedlessness, as I just say, it hasn't sunk in yet, and I can't do that without you.
Yeah. So that's why it's profoundly so important to establish that foundation that can start to influence and promote and provoke that real value system. That's why the call when the Prophet comes is Ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind, Qulu la ilaha illallah. Say la ilaha illallah. So in other words, educate yourself, align yourself in that thinking, feeling, acting, this reality, this absolute reality. Okay? So once you bring yourself, establish this profound foundation, okay, that now become what construct your thinking mind, your feeling self, and your acting behavior. Yeah, so now when you take any sermon or you face any situation and circumstances that constantly challenging the good, bad, sweet, bitter, difficult, easy, that your close relation, your spouse, your friend, your family, a lot of things that are ready there to just provoke something, now it brings the best of you out. Okay, more squeeze, more ahad. Ahad. More heavy burden, they put the stone on the chest of Bilal. Ahad. Ahad. More the punishment, more pain, more sweetness come out, more honey come out. Okay? Because that level of acceptance of that reality, that they have accept, believe, surrender, okay, such a level, it bypass all those hardwired circuit in our life, all those distorted belief being ruled out. Yeah. So the only way is to really educate ourselves this reality and constantly stay there. Okay, any situation, bring it back there. Okay, so until you master it, yes, so you can be anywhere, you can laugh, you can eat, you can talk, you can walk, but that drowned state is constantly sinking, keep sinking, more second by second, keep go deep, because you drown already. Yeah, because that pool, isn't it? The weight you put, weight, when it start to, that's it. It start to go now. You come late already. Okay? You cannot, if you come, I'm going to take you down with me. See? If you don't want to down with me, you have to run off. You cannot stay in this circle. If you come to the circle, soon or later, you have COVID. Okay, you're going to have that, okay, because that sparrow taking you back to the source, that pool, isn't it? Yeah. Any other question?
Yeah, I have a question from someone.
Yeah.
They're asking how you can establish the quality of sidqun inwardly with Allah as well as outwardly with creation.
Right. The question is how you establish that truthfulness and honesty with
inwardly with Allah.
Okay, so the idea is that if you have discovered or if you come across or if you acknowledge something to be absolute truth, okay, then there's no point to deny anymore. Yes or no? If you discover, you come across something so authentic, so real, okay, then you just admit it you will not reject it. That's the idea of sidqun. Okay? So sidqun is the idea that you embrace that reality. The reality that you've been exposed. The reality that you've been demonstrate or make it clear. Okay? And that's very much aligned with your inner dimension, okay, which is acceptance. Okay? We by nature, we come to the world. Our inherent state originally is acceptance. So the child, if you look at them, they accept. Okay? If you look at the absorbent period, 0 to 7 or 0 to 6 age, their mind is that absorbed. Okay? If you look at them, you say anything. They just accept them, isn't it? Yeah? So, when you demonstrate the 50, that 50 is just like so pure and innocent, so pure and so clear truth, then it activates the sidqun. Yeah? It activates. So when we talk about sidqun, we're talking about that synchronicity and heart-mind coherence, not just between you and fellow creation, truthfulness and honesty, but rather the outward motion, that synchronicity in relation towards that divine, towards that absolute reality, as what he said and what you say align. That's only the Prophet. That's why you need Muhammad Rasulullah. Okay, I can speak the truth in relation me and you, but not necessarily between me and him. Maybe it's opposite. When we talk about sidqun, it's two. That vertical and opposite of that? Horizontal. Wow. So someone, when you talk about synchronicity or heart-mind coherence, they can talk about, what you think, what you feel, what you say. It is what it is. But is it what you think, what you feel, and what you articulate and what you do, is it aligned with him? Now you need his representative. So heart-mind coherence, sidqun at that level, it necessitates representative that declare, that call out as his representative. Then you can get that. Make sense to you? Yeah, because when you talk about Muhammad Rasulullah, the reality of Muhammad Rasulullah is that sidqun amanatun tablighun fatanatun. Sidqun, truthfulness, that truth, not just that he is trustworthy, not that he is speaking the truth, but that truth is aligned with the source.
Okay.
You see? That's why that preservation is important. That's why having a teacher that have unbroken chain is important. Otherwise, you can go astray. Because we're talking about sidqun at the level of vertical and horizontal. It aligns.
Sure, but
Yeah.
understand it. Because you made a distinction there, if I'm trying to understand it. I think I have, but
Mm.
you got how we understand those four
Yeah.
about it's not just being true, he himself. Because people can be true, but then there's, when I see someone, okay, if I say, oh, this person is being true, there's a lot behind that statement. True according to what? True what? Is either true about what exactly? What you're talking about is true. Oh, what he says he does. Okay. So according to what they say they do. But what could that mean? That could be, oh, I'm going to do bad and I do bad. But can you see how that's limited? But
Yeah, that's
when
more
you're stretching
horizontal.
it- yeah. So when you're stretching it to that vertical, you're saying there's a divine truth, which is the
According to him,
yes,
according to that divine.
and so someone being true on that horizontal
Match,
level,
it match that.
yeah, doesn't necessarily mean matching vertical.
Yes. That's why we talk about that.
So when we're talking about Rasulullah, it's like, right,
Yes. Get a
Okay.
point there. You know, sometimes you see New Age spiritualism, you know, they can talk about truth, they can talk, you know, it can be good. But then if you put the prophet, they contradict now. So, you get my point there. So,
because it's the basis of what are they
yeah.
true about.
Yeah.
I mean, they might not know. So it could be someone who, okay.
Yeah,
Someone
at that
who's
level,
level-
yes, we understood that level.
Yeah.
We just one level of truth.
Yeah.
But when we talk about silicon, we're talking about horizontal and vertical. As much as that vertical, and then it impact the horizontal.
So that's why you need the revelation.
Yes.
Without revelation, you only
Yes.
have that horizontal truth.
Yes. So top down, bottom up.
Ah,
Yes. Yeah.
okay.
So from the nakal, it impact the akal, and then akal permeate the world. And that preserve.
Because otherwise it's only relative truths.
Yes.
Everyone, you're true,
Yes.
we're all true.
That's why they talk about the
Equality
relative
of
truth.
Ah,
People get confused. But when we talk about tradition, it's not that. Most of these people talking about relative truth, they rule out that divine perception. But when you talk like that, look, this is vertical and horizontal. That's silicon. I don't know, the one that asked the question, is it clear up a little bit for him or for her? Yeah. Huh? Yes. Yes. So that if we talk about, remember in Ma'rifah, al-jazmu mutabiqu lil-haq, and dalil, the three criterion, isn't it? Al-jazam, rule out shak, zan, and waham. Establish yaqeen. Mutabiqu lil-haq, rule out jahil basit and jahil murakkab. Compound ignorance. And pure simple ignorance. Yeah? And dalil, rule out taqleed, blind follow. And that's what they categorize. If you say, I believe, what they mean is that they look at you like nothing because it's just blind belief. But when we use the word believe, we're talking about dalil. We're talking about aqli, naqli, fact, evidence, logic, all those elements. But they rule out that. Okay? So when we define ma'rifah, knowing reality, we have the three criterion. Al-jazmu mutabiqu lil-haq and dalil. Yes? Yeah? That is why it's strong. That's why if you understood that, you stay there longer. You know? And it really will fill up all the instrument and the tools. Because alladhi allama bil qalam, okay, he teach you what you know not through the tools, through the instrument. So your ears is the tools, your eyes is the tools and instrument, your tongue is the tools and instrument that he give to you that you can utilize it, use it to reinforce one reality. Okay? This world, your surrounding is a tool, is alat, is a vehicle, is a means to take you towards reality. Alladhi allama bil qalam. Kalam, at the broad base understand, is a tool, is an instrument. Okay, it's something that you use for another to understand. Okay, this is all. Okay, so that's why if your tool is activated, it will catch that bolt, the immense bolt of the spiritual, immense strong. You just can glimpse at one flower, one leaf. You got everything, you just fire up. But because we are, we're very sensuality, sensory, and that sensory is distorted because you take it back to the thing itself. It's stagnant. Now you just here, you're stuck. So the Shaykh come to rescue you, to bring you back. Yeah, to take you back to where you belong. Yes? But because you're so addiction here, take a walk. Yeah? But it takes some time, And most people normally when they really come to that point of acceptance, when they've been knocked to the knee. To the point that whatever they used to be cannot function anymore as normal. Then that situation, that circumstances force them now to change. Okay? That's why our habit is so strong. That's why you have to start to apply muraqabah, muhasabah, mu'aqabah, mujahadah, mu'atabah. So murabata is the idea that heartfelt love with the best of creation. Okay? And then musharata is knowing what are the things that you want to establish, what are the things that you want to avoid. Have to be clear. What is it? Musharata. Okay? And then muraqabah is observing so that what you want to establish, what you want to avoid, you does not miss it. You have to observe. Like you want to take bus number 8. But when you're in the station, you have to muraqabah, you have to look. You can't just play your phone there. You missed it. When someone asks you, how long been waiting? Nearly 3 hours now. What happened? Did you know what bus you want to take? Of course I know. But what happened? Because you're not establishing, you're not observing. You're occupied with something else. Yes? That's how we go through life. From the morning until evening, we know being conscious, but still unconscious. If you look at that conscious state, carelessness and heedlessness, and consciousness and awareness, these two states of being present and being out of present. If you imagine 24 hours, 24 box, if you put consciousness and awareness, green color, carelessness and heedlessness, red color. So if you look at that box, 24 box, what color is going to be the most? Is it red or green? So if red color, so the question is, what are you doing? So if you follow properly, you should make some change. You see? You should. Because we're not talking about something other than what it is. We're talking about it is what it is. We are talking about reality. We're not talking something far out from reality. We are expressing, describing the reality of life. You're thinking, you're feeling, you're acting. That's what we're talking about. Yes? So that's why it's so important to establish that rabita, that heartfelt love with the messenger. Yes? And then musharata, the terms and conditions, what you want to establish, what you don't want. And then muraqabah, observing so that you can establish that. And then muhasabah is to take yourself into account. Okay? To check more thoroughly. So muraqabah, you establish moment to moment. Muhasabah, at night time, at the end of the day, you sit back, look what's missing. Okay, self-check. After, okay, look at back what's going on here. Hisab, take yourself into account. Oh, I shouldn't do that. Now, when you make hisab, you realize, oh my God, I missed that. Now, it provokes a sense of regret, a sense of urge, a sense of strong that self-criticism for establish what you need to establish. That's called mu'ataba. Mu'ataba is a feeling whereby you start to have this self-criticism for constructive. Okay, you criticize something so that you can move forward. That's called mu'ataba. It's just like, almost if you do something mistake that you're not supposed to do, that you heartfelt, oh my God, what I've done. You feel so regret, at the same time you want to guard more. Not regret you beat yourself up to the point you knock yourself out of balance. No. Regret that bring energy. Regret that bring more guard, positive, more established, more construct. Okay? And that sometimes you beat yourself, oh my God, what I've done. That mu'aqabah, that heartfelt, okay, that bring strength to do more. Okay? That's mu'ataba, that regret element, that constructive regret. That's mu'ataba. Mujahada, now you want to put effort. You really look at all angles, your time, yourself, your wealth are ready to move forward now. More struggle now. You sacrifice your time, yourself, and your wealth in order what you want to establish will be established. So in this case, to establish the 6, the 1, the 5, the 3. So that's why you need that 7. But if you never use that, you can't progress. You're not moving. Yes? How many people understand? Any question?
The mu'ataba and the mu'ataba
Yeah.
is the same thing as we've been talking about the sermon. Where you
Yeah.
check,
Yeah.
make sure you're doing it correctly. Look at the end of the day, and then you make changes where
No,
required.
sermon, when we talk about sermon, we're talking about taking heed from, taking lesson from what happened. Okay? So what lesson that you take from that, what has happened? Okay, the lesson that you take, what? To reinforce, okay, your affirmation, to reinforce your focus attention, to reinforce your articulation, action, giving, abstain, going places. So in other words, to reinforce ibadat, worship, the external worship, to reinforce the internal worship, and to reinforce inner of the inner worship. Okay, to reinforce these 3 realities so that you become more advanced, more, more moving forward. Okay, more uprise, not backward, more forward. Okay, so you become more conscious, you become ready to more to serve, more functional, more energized. Okay, so you take heed, oh, that happened. Okay, you take lesson from that. What? Okay, the lesson that you take, what it does to you, it reinforces what you want to establish. What is it that you want to establish? It depends where you are. Your position and my position is not the same. Okay, and everyone is unique position that you can really participate, and you can, you can channel your service differently to serve yourself, people around you. Yeah, to become the best in that presentation, in using your ears, in using your eyes, in using your tongue, in using your 2 hands, using your stomach, your private, and your 2 feet in the right way. How that been presented by the messenger of God himself. Okay, so you want to reinforce that. So anything happen, you take lesson, and that lesson that you take reinforce that reality. Okay, establishing that praiseworthy quality, avoiding the blameworthy quality, reinforcing that consciousness and awareness, and rule out hidden association by establishing that affirming one and unity of what you have accept, believe, surrender. Okay, and avoiding at the apparent level, the outward level, avoiding ma'asiyah, disobedient, and establishing obedient, ta'ah. So that's the module. So taking sermon element is to take understanding, to take lesson for what? That's why you need to understand the module. Okay, the deepest end is really to have deep anchored your present, never come out anymore. You establish. Most of us, still not establishing that. We're still in that WIP, work in progress, not VIP yet. Okay, still work in progress. That life journey. Okay, that's why we talk about the first, knowing that absolute reality. Second, knowing the Prophet, the one that represents that reality, the one that being, the one that reflects that reality at the level of ma'soom, at the level of infallible, protected by God. And then the third, the teacher that drowned in that ocean of prophethood. But they are not the level of ma'soom, but they are the level of mahfuz. Okay, they still have the element of protected, but not the level of ma'soom. Ma'soom, complete protected. But the teacher, they are mahfuz. Mahfuz means they fall into error, but they come back quickly. But the thing that they fall into error, not major, minor, is the thing that you cannot consider to be in normal circumstances. That is not, but for them it's a very great thing. Even that they quickly realize, wash quickly. But for us, the awam, the common, if you do something mistake, you wait until 1 week, you're still not washing it. Okay, so the difference between the people that really drown in that zone of prophethood, they have this self-correct mechanism in them. Because they're so alert, they're conscious, they're drowned with that ocean of oneness, ocean of that prophethood. Okay, and then the student is coming in and trying to put that their alignment, their thinking, feeling, acting, so that align with that prophethood module. Okay, that's why you have to learn your 68. What is that you want to affirm? Because when you can talk about belief general, but then general you can fall into error, you don't even know it. But when you study the 15, 18, that detail, it saves you from wrong perception, wrong affirmation. Because the people of Jabariyah, they talk about La ilaha illallah, but they become Jabariyah. I'atiqad Jabariyah. The people of Mu'tazilah and Qadariyah, a sect, a group of people, okay, they learn La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, but they become extreme. What we learn here is Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, balance, stability, justice, and right proportion. Not for right, not for left, but middle. Okay, so you need to, at the first stages, need to really need to educate yourself, understand. The more you occupy your mind with this knowledge, the 15, 18, slowly you will drown in that oneness and unity. And you find yourself more being present, naturally. Okay, and then that will reinforce the strength of your 7 limbs. Okay, your 7 limbs are ready to serve yourself, people that are close to you, your society, community, country, nation. Okay, you function, you're presenting the truth. Okay, these are the movement, these are the harakat, the movement that establishing truth, excellence, and freedom. Truth symbolizes tawheed, excellence symbolizes tasawwuf, and freedom symbolizes fiqh. When you combine the truth, excellence, and freedom, you get health and well-being. Yes? So these are the things that we presenting. These are the things that we are reminding ourselves. This is what we want to establish. Otherwise, you lost it. What is your purpose? What is your module? What you want to... You're praying. What are you praying for? What are you doing? What are you building? Yes? If you go and learn about exercise, the one that really understood about exercise, if you do this move, or this for bicep, or this is for that muscle, you move a little bit low, that's for that one. Oh. You can't just do, you can, but then you can't get that detail, isn't it? This you're studying general and you go into detail. Then you know exactly. So when you pray, when you sit down, when I spend time with you, everything's building up. When I step out, anywhere I go, fully function, full charge, fully charge. Yes, fully charge. Yes, we don't want half charge. You can't do much. You want 600 kilometers, you can go. Yes, so it's always. So your environment, your situation, your circumstances, good, bad, sweet, bitter, difficult, easy, any situation, circumstances, it always renewal energy, not depleting energy now. Okay, to always bring the best of you. Okay, you might get blurred a little bit, but you quickly come back. You learn from everything. So in that your life journey, 60 years, 70, 80 years, you really fill up with good things. Okay, and you have the vision. You're seeing where you're going now. Anything that you do, you see reality. Okay, so the teacher gives you this knowledge, is going to open your inside vision. And all of us have that capacity, have that ability. We have that inbuilt. Yeah. Any other question, Abdul Hakim? No more. Yes.
Got one.
Yes.
What is the difference between mu'aqabah and mu'ataba?
Mu'aqabah, as we said earlier, the one that strong self-discipline. Okay? So you restrict yourself, you find yourself, your ego has overtaken. Your feeling, your thinking, your acting is too much habit that not aligned with this module. This you have to put restriction now. You have to give that SOP, standard operational procedure. You have to establish that. Okay? You have to establish SOP. Yes? Otherwise the ego doesn't care. Okay, so that mu'aqabah is more strict self-discipline. Okay, you know what? Fasting today. The ego, what? No, you can't do that. No, I'm not eating today. So now, that's why in fasting, element fasting month, you find yourself more easy to do worship. Yes? You find more light. Yes? So that helps. So that's mu'aqabah. So you strong self-discipline in order to establish the musharatah. Okay? And that more you establish the musharatah, more you reinforce the love, rabita. Rabita is that love. Okay? To establish, to secure, to preserve that true love. Because when you talk about the sikh, just now we talked about sikh is about knowing your true lover. One is about being present with your lover. Okay? And then the 5 is channeling towards your lover. You know all that, but your ego doesn't want it. It doesn't care. What you're talking about love, forget it. I'm going to do what I want. Yes? So now how? Mu'aqabah. Oh. That wild horse is running everywhere. He's not following the track. Bite him. Put in the sun. Open the roof. Son, no water. See how they train the wild horse before it become, obedient. Put the 2 feet. You see the trainer is so clever. Look, no water. They bring, and then after 4 hours, 5 hours, the horse wanting water, and they bring the bucket of water somewhere far. The horse kicking now. Okay, no water for you. Put there. And then after a while, look at the eyes, look at the movement, you see. Okay, bring it close a little bit. Yes? Now start to show aggressive. Okay, pull back, forward. Slowly, slowly, it tamed the horse. Yes? So we have wild black stallion horse. Want to run everywhere. So you don't want to kill that horse, the ego, but you want to tame. You want to mold, shape, cultivate, and direct that horse so that you can use that horse to your life journey and to take you where you want to go. But how to do that? That's why you learn about the principle to train the horse. Now you have mu'aqabah. That's why mu'aqabah also the horse, they have that beating sometimes. It's too what? Some horse, you just rise that what you call it?
Cane.
Huh? Cane, the whip. What do you call it? Huh? Is it whip? Yeah. So some horse is just like that, obedient already. Some horse you need to touch a little bit. Some horse the skin is so thick, you touch, it just doesn't care. You need to wipe a little bit. Now he know, he's my boss. Yes, now he start to obey. Yes, the nafs is like that, the ego is like that. So you have to muraqabah, you have to watch what to do, what not. You know yourself better. If you just allowed everything, it just override you. Then you can't change, you can't transform. That's mu'aqabah, that strong self-discipline if needed. Okay, that's why the police, you have that gun, you have that beating wood, all that's mu'aqabah. If needed, not the police go everywhere just beating everyone. No. Yes, but it's ready if need. That's mu'aqabah. Yeah, and then that mu'atabah, that hard feeling, okay, that great regret, constructive regret. You feel that heartfelt, I shouldn't do that, more like self-criticism, but constructive criticism, not deconstruct, but more you criticize, more the best of you rise up. Like that, like sometimes you see the kids here, you doesn't know how to ride that bike, you doesn't know. No, I know. More you say no, he stops. Yes, look, I can. Yeah, so the nafs sometimes like that. Yeah, yourself sometimes like that. So it's part of your inner build. That mu'atabah is connected to lawama. Okay, the criticism self. Okay, before the lawama is that amara. Okay, amara, the self that inclined towards naughty, towards bad. Okay, when you fall into error, you follow your nafs, you follow your ego, you follow your lowly self, you commit into sin, you do something that you're not supposed to do. Then you feel, oh my God, what I've done. That's called that's called lawama. Lawama is connected towards mu'atabah. Mu'atabah is connected towards the second level of nafs, the second level of yourself. You have 7 levels. So you have amara, lawama, mulhama, mutmainna, radiya, mardiya, kamaliya. Okay? So all this is just a name, one person. Just a child. When he's good, you say it's a good boy. When he's naughty, it's a naughty boy. The same child, same boy. So 7 names is the same person. So it look at the character and the behavior. So you name according to that character. Okay, you go through life process. First you fall into error, you follow your whims, you follow what you want. That's called amara. Inna nafsa la ammaratu bisu. Inna nafsa la ammaratum bisu. Indeed, verily, nafs al ammara, that concupiscence self, that lowly self, always inclined towards bad. So any feeling that you always want to do wrong thing, want to cheat people, want to do this, that's amara. That's something that you're not asked to follow. Okay? But sometimes you know you're not supposed to follow it because the environment set up, the friend influence, okay? You too much looking wrong places, hearing wrong thing. Okay? Now, especially this contract society always built to give more courage towards amara. Okay, now you fall into error. Okay, but if you still have a sense of natural state after doing anything wrong, you feel that regret. You feel, oh my God, that self-criticism. That's called lawama, nafsul lawama. So the moment you follow amara, lawama will come out. And then you need mulhama. Mulhama, you're looking, how can I really better myself? Now that's mulhama. Mulhama, in this place, you activate mulhama. This energy here, this study circle like we make, the dhikr, close to the righteous people, you activate the mulhama energy. It's connect towards injalak. Amara and lawama. Amara is more connect towards satanic, more connect towards that nafsani and shaitani. Okay? When you have that lawama, okay, that's its beginning stages to enter towards malaki and rabbani. Now you need direction, you need explanation, you need guide. Malhama means a sense of good inspired, good explanation, okay, good courage. Okay, the teacher will explain to you, or your good friend, for instance. Maybe he already passed that level of influence, the lowly influence that he have gone through. He know that, oh, you doing that? Oh, please, let me tell you something. Let me give you a piece of advice. You know what? I go through this one already. So he can give you an advice because he went through already. Yes? So any wise people, anyone that already more mature, they can give you some tips. Okay? So you need that guide, that mulhama. So you yearn towards guidance, you yearn towards something, explanation to direct you towards the right place. Now once you establish that, now you arrive towards mutma'inna. Now mutma'inna, you're more established now. So your state of being more inclined towards the good. Any bad rise up, you recognize so quick, and you have strength to put it down. Okay, not just within yourself. If you go any environment that people try to influence you, you influence them. They end up become good to that level. Mutma'inna. And then you have radiyah, mardiyah, kamaliyah. So radiyah, when that mutma'inna becomes strong, is your state, now you rise towards radiyah. So you have this state that more synchronized. You start to have spiritual experience. Yes? You start to have spiritual experience. Radiyah. And then mardiyah, whereby that reflection from heaven start to give you. You start to experience that reality, mardiyah. And then you come to that point of kamaliyah. You come to the element of that element of wise. You know every corner, almost like master now. Kamaliyah. Yeah? Kamaliyah means you come to that element of establishment of that reality. Kamaliyah. So people that arrive there, they understand in out, they can give you good advice. Yes? Okay? Insan, like the one term they use, insan kamil, you know, that person that arrived to that level of maturity, and with that maturity, he can give good guide. Yeah? That a good teacher that arrive, they can give you good guide. Okay? So that is, you know, hopefully that answered the question.
So thanks for
Okay.
clear.
You know, so it's just simple. It's just mu'aqabah is more restriction, strict discipline. Mu'atabah, heartfelt, that regret, more construct. And then that's where mujahadah come in. Okay? But mu'atabah, because you have muhasabah, you check, you calculate, oh my God, what I'm doing here. That's muhasabah. And that will provoke mu'atabah. Mu'atabah will give mu'aqabah. Mu'aqabah give mujahadah. You're ready, fire up to sacrifice yourself, your time and your wealth to establish musharata. What you want to do, what you don't want to do. And that in turn, it will reinforce murabata, love. Yes? That we're talking about the 3 sciences that govern your being to become a lover. A true lover. Okay? Is that clear? Yes?
Yes, so it's clear.
Okay. So hopefully we stop there. Inshallah, we'll continue next time. Already 12 o'clock. Yeah? غفر الله له ولوالديه ولجميع المسلمين بجاه سيدنا الأنبياء والمرسلين والأولياء الصالحين نفعنا الله به وإياكم كما نفع بأصله أنه جواد كريم والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة.